Smiling too much. Get it, girl.
All right, Sofia Camacho, how are you?
Good. How are you?
This is so exciting. We're in New York City, by the way.
Well,
Not
yeah.
that people know, nor need to know, but
Welcome to New York.
New York, Big Apple. I asked Sofia to do this podcast thinking she was LA based, but bam, rejected. New York based.
Yeah.
Luckily, I'm a photographer, as you know, so I come to New York often. So I was like, even better. Let's do this way. So we came to New York, and now you're here. So we met watching you destroy pretty much everyone in the world at the Nike After Dark. At the Nike After Dark half marathon, which they're doing like a 5 or 6 city tour.
That's right.
And Mumbai, India is one of them.
Yeah.
And Mumbai, India was incredible. I went to visit. It was an amazing place. Oh my God.
Wow.
And then the LA one, my wife was running it. We went. My kids love seeing the races, and they put the signs, and then they almost ran into you because you were going. And I thought, if she hits you, they're gonna die, because it's gonna be like somebody running 11 miles per hour, crushing my child. I was like,
literally do remember that.
You do remember the
seeing
kiddos?
them. I do remember seeing them and feeling bad that I couldn't high five them.
they were trying to high five you so
I knew
bad.
it would hurt.
It would hurt their hands. So I told them to stay away from you and 10 other runners. And then once the more adequate pace people were running, that's when they were high fiving.
Oh,
But
chiquitos.
what was your final time in that?
It's like 1:15, an hour 15.
Dude, that's just so wild. It's like
Well,
it's depressing
it
for
was
all
actually
of us.
slower than my marathon pace. This half.
Really?
Yeah.
Valencia was faster?
Yeah, it was a 2:29.
That was your PR, 229?
2:29 is my PR, and then I'm running the marathon project in December, and that's being paced at like, I believe 2:24. Is like the Pacers, pace.
And you're gonna stay with those people?
Yeah, that's the goal.
That's the goal,
Stick around
224?
there. Yeah.
Okay.
Around there, you know.
Yeah. It's just that number just sounds so crazy to me.
Me too. That's why I'm like, around there.
I find you to be really interesting. One of the reasons why I thought it would be cool to interview you is because you were smiling the entire time you were running at crazy speeds. And when I run at anywhere near 10 miles per hour, I only feel like my face is the face of somebody that wants to throw up. But instead, not only were you running, like, let me show people. Okay, guys, look at this. Look at this visual.
The demo.
Okay, look at the demo, because, okay, watch what happens. Okay, here she is talking to Iron Girl Nadia, right?
Yeah,
Iron Girl Nadia. Shout out to Iron Girl Nadia.
Yeah, the queen on the bike.
The queen on the bike. And look, she's even putting her hands together, thanking the audience from all the crazy noise and all this stuff. And I just thought, this is just crazy. Like, how do you do that? And after that, I was just like, I need to talk to that person.
I was like in awe, I think, like in shock from the cheering, because I've run the New York City Marathon before.
Okay.
That was my second marathon, and my third was Valencia, and that's it. That's all I've run. So the cheering in New York is crazy because New York is so populated, and every borough is so unique. So you get every type of person cheering for you, like screaming the whole time. And I'm a drag performer, so it feels like I'm giving shows for 2 hours during a marathon, 2 hours and a half, whatever.
Yeah.
And like here, I was just in awe of the runners screaming, like the entire, because it's an out and back. So on my way back, hearing and seeing everyone screaming was so surreal. I just no me lo esperaba. So my heart was like pounding out of my chest, and like I was smiling and my cheeks were shaking, and I was like, oh, I have to get used to this because the entire second half is that. So it was just like unreal.
When did you decide to just say, I'm going to destroy these poor people and just bye-bye?
Honestly, it was seeing all the Mexican flags.
Yeah.
Because it was my first time in LA. So we literally got off the plane, get to the hotel. As soon as we had free time, I went outside and I saw mangos con chile, con tajín.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I'm getting this.
This is it.
Immediately.
Yeah.
I'm home.
That's right. With the coconut and the watermelon.
So I got mangos, and then I got pepinos and jicama con todo. So like tajín, chamoy, limón, todo.
Of course.
So I was like, oh, I'm home. And then when I saw all the flags and the girls running with moños, like ribbons in their hair.
Yeah.
My nickname in elementary school was moños because my mom used to me peinaba con el gel. It's like hair gel.
Oh yeah.
Like she would stretch my skin.
All
it
the way
was
back.
so tight. And 2 braids and 2 giant bows at the end of my braids.
Yeah.
I hated it because my hair was just so pulled back and it was like it hurt my head and all this stuff. But seeing all the girls run in their ribbons, like I felt that in my heart and I was like, oh my God, like, oh, I need to win, especially with all the protests and with ICE and like being a first generation American. I was like, I don't care that I didn't train for this race. I don't care that like I'm injured and haven't really been running that much. I need to take it. I have to.
It's interesting how the ICE raids in LA, which are super depressing, whatever your politics may be, people being torn apart like this is sad. And that motivated you to decide to take off.
Yeah.
That's pretty freaking awesome, actually.
I was like, it needs to be someone Mexican. Like we're here, it has to be someone Mexican. Oh
my gosh, that's so symbolic.
I was like, it literally just has to.
Yeah. So you guys, you don't know but I just found out we're both from. Not only are we both from Mexico, but we're both from the same city. We're from Mexico. Yeah, somos mexicanos. We're both from Mexico City. I might be a little bit older though.
Just a little.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah, not much. But anyway, I thought that was super interesting, and so that was like mile 3.
Yeah, I think so.
When you started the race, do you look left and right to see who's your competition and do you know the people that are running?
Sometimes I do. So in like in the New York scene, I usually do know who I'm running against.
When you are running, when you get on the starting line, do you know like what's up, left and right? You know do you mad dog people like this? Like that?
Not really, because for this race specifically, I did not think I was going to win at all.
Because you were injured.
I was injured. And again, for the past like 3 to 4 months, I've been running every other day, like 30 minutes, if at all. So I took like a month off and then my knees kind of got better. So I said, okay, like we started taking it really slow because I got injured from coming back too quickly from Valencia, really. Because I ran Valencia, came back very quickly. I got sick, like I always get sick in the winter, like the flu, a fever, all that.
And after marathons, you get more sick?
Yes. So I was out for a while. And then when I was coming back from that is when I got injured. So then I really was still coming back from all of that. So every other day running 30 minutes. And then I did a thing called Southbound 400, which is an ultra relay with a team from the Canadian border to Battery Park in New York City. And I couldn't do the 3rd day because I was in so much pain from this injury. So I was like, oh, this LA race is like in 2 weeks and I couldn't even finish this thing that I committed to doing. So it was very much Nike sent me as a run coach, right? So like, but we were obviously offered a bib to run too. So I was like, it's going to be fun. Like I'm just going to run and see what it's like. So from the start.
And you've never been to LA?
No, never been to LA.
Never in your entire life?
Nope, not once. Yeah. So once I was at the start line, the situation that I was in was, okay, I'm not going to lead. I'm just going to run with whoever's in the front, like see what the vibe is and then let just the race happen. Really, I was very willing to just tone it back if it hurt, all that stuff. I did not want to lead. I really was trying not to lead. And then all of a sudden
it's only 15,000 people.
Well, yeah. So I was at the front and I did expect there to be like a group of girls that were hoping to win, but it really just happened organically where I took the lead and I was like, shit.
Yeah,
like funny. I literally was like,
I went to the Nike thing at the
Grove. I really didn't mean to.
Yeah, right. It's sad that you're on 115 is your injured pace.
I didn't mean to. I was really, and like, I was like, I'm out of shape. Like I didn't know how to emphasize that enough. Like I'm not ready for this race at all.
Sure.
Like I couldn't have emphasized that enough.
I feel like I should cry. Like
no!
It's like 115. 115 is your injured pace and I'm not sure I can do this or I should be here because I'm injured.
It was very like, I hadn't run 13 miles in months.
It's okay.
Or anywhere close to that.
What would happen if you were in perfect shape?
I would have hoped to run faster for sure.
Well, that would be so scary to see. I mean, at that pace, I mean, the only people that would be in your field would be the Kenyans and stuff.
No, actually, like there's a few other pros, but I guess we did. I don't think that race exactly had like a pro field because a lot of races, what they do is they'll pay for pros. They'll pay an appearance fee.
Yeah.
Which just means that you just pay them to come and race.
Sure.
And there was no prize money. So there was really like no incentive for professional runners to prioritize this race specifically. So I was like, okay, maybe I might win, but based on my fitness, I don't think I can. Like, I genuinely went into this race being like, even on a good day, there's no way.
Wonder why Nike didn't put any prize money on that.
Yeah.
But I saw some girls that were there at the Nike presentation at the Grove, which is like this beautiful outdoor mall.
Yeah.
And when they came and they were going up the stairs to go into the stage to sit on their chairs.
Yep.
I remember looking at them and like when they were going up, like their legs were so ripped. And I was just like, geez, like these people are crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then the other girl gets up and starts getting up to go to the stage. And she was her legs were more ripped. Yeah. Like I was just like, man, these people are just like nuts. And then you're injured and not feeling it, and you still destroy them all.
Well, my thing is like, I also get nervous when I look around at the start line because a lot of people wear like, you know, their race gear and like the singlet, the running singlet, or like the running briefs. And that kind of that freaks me out.
Yeah, with the cool sunglasses.
Yeah, and like the braids.
Oh, it
like,
was a night race. But.
It like freaks me out a little bit. Like that gets in my head. And like I am kind of known for racing in like just a cotton shirt that I cut into like a tank top.
Yeah. Like my friend Juan, he just wears like a normal shirt.
Just like a shirt. Yeah, exactly. That's what I do because I find that it helps me relax a little bit. Helps me take the pressure off.
Okay.
It's like a trick in my brain where I'm like, it's not a big deal. It's just a shirt. Like it's just the shirt that I run in and I'm just going to run this thing, you know? So, because in college, I was a Division I athlete in college.
Columbia,
yeah. So I went here in New York City. So I was very type A. So pre-race routine, same foods all the time, specific socks, very like had to warm up a specific time. It was so meticulous, everything. Yeah. And that made me more nervous because if I missed a step or if I did something wrong, it would get in my head and then I wouldn't race well.
Right.
So, so if I don't exactly have a perfect routine, if I don't follow the perfect routine, it won't bother me. It won't get in my head.
That's funny. That's like one of the questions my friend Abby wanted to ask you is if you had a routine and if that routine messes you up or it makes you good.
Yeah.
But let me see. Let me get out of this. Okay.
Ooh.
Here's your questions. Ready?
Yeah.
You can't look at the monitor.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Sofia Camacho. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
This is just for fun. These are dumb. This is just for fun. People want to talk about the running stuff, but they also want to know who you are a little bit in a more casual way. Okay? So let's do this. Track or trail running, or road or trail? Road, of course.
Road.
Do you ever try to do a trail run?
Yeah, I run on the trails sometimes. I do like them. I don't think I've run them enough.
Trail running?
Yeah, trail running. Like actual trail running, rocks, roots, everything. I'm so clumsy. So I will eat shit.
You will eat.
I will.
You will eat the dirt.
I will.
These are Pedro, my friend Pedro. He's a runner. He wanted to ask you this and that, and this is how we came up with these things.
Okay. You know? Excellent. So, I love this. I'm not looking at them. Don't worry.
Don't look at them.
No,
shout out to Pedro Martinez, all the way in California, baby. Okay. Would you ever consider running an ultra marathon?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I would.
But you've never done one?
Never done one.
Would you rather have a speed work or a long run?
Long run.
Of course, I was waiting for that one. Morning run or evening?
Evening.
Evening?
Evening.
Yeah, I can't do running. I can't do in the morning. It's like so hard.
You cannot pull me out of bed. My
amazing coach Niels, shout out to Niels Gunderson. He's pushing me to start running early, but I'm like, Niels, I can't. You can't. You can take the animal out of the wild, but you can't take the wild out of the animal. Like I can't. I am just a natural born, not a morning person.
Yeah, same.
You know, I'm like, no way. But I need to do it because that's what he wants me to do, and I think he's right. I think when the sun goes up and the heat starts to come, it affects me.
Okay, so that's fair.
You know, he's trying to get me in the morning where my potential will be more realized.
Okay.
You know, so that works. Treadmill or run in the rain?
Okay, treadmill if it's cold rain. Otherwise, I don't care about the rain.
Okay, good one. So if it's cold rain and it's yucky outside, treadmill. Otherwise, you would run in the rain.
Yeah. I don't mind the rain, but I can't deal with cold rain. My God.
Marathons or a 10K?
Marathons.
Why?
Because, oh my God, the 10Ks are so... I ran a couple in college.
Mm-hmm.
And none of them were good. None of them were fast. I think I run my marathon faster than the 10Ks I did in college.
Yeah.
It just wasn't a good time. I never nailed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
10K to me it's like the equivalent of the 800 in the track and field.
See, there you go. It's fast.
Like long distance, but it's still fast.
Yep, it's fast.
I mean, 6 miles is a long way.
It's fast.
But it's fast. It's like you might as well be running a 5K.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Race with hills, or would you rather have a race with heat?
Hills.
Hills?
Yeah.
So heat, you're not a big fan?
I don't mind the heat. I mind humidity.
You mind humidity, yeah.
I can run in any heat. Like I will be soaking, dripping wet, but if it's humid, that's miserable.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, and I forgot. Today's my coach's birthday.
Happy birthday.
Niels. Happy birthday, Niels.
Niels?
It's like pills, but with an N. Niels.
So Nils?
Niels.
Or Niels?
Yeah, N-I-L-S.
But we're Mexican. We need to figure out the pronunciation of this.
We'll call him Pedro.
Okay, Pedro. Happy birthday.
Niels is laughing right now. He's probably going to happy birthday, Niels. Pedro. Okay, well, that's terrible. Niels. It's Niels. Okay. You run with music or no music?
No music usually. Depends.
Do you feel like the music messes you up? Do you want to hear your footsteps?
I don't really want to hear my footsteps. It's just that I don't race with music ever, really. I don't race with music. I don't do like workouts, speed work with music. If it's a progression long run, I also don't do it with music usually. If it's a regular easy run or a long run, sometimes I'll listen to a podcast or music.
You feel like when you're always in the front, wearing music kind of takes you away from the cheering?
Yeah, definitely. It's like it would distract me for sure.
It would distract you?
Yeah.
New shoes or new watch?
You go through shoes quicker, so new shoes.
New shoes. Compression socks or short socks?
Short socks. I have like Hanes socks.
You have what?
Hanes.
You do? You run on that?
Yeah, I do run on them. Like for marathon day, I kind of try to find a matching sock that's like a running sock, but
I heard that if you use cotton socks, it creates blisters. But you don't care.
Yeah, I've had a blister before, but
It's so funny.
Apparently I don't learn from my mistakes.
Yeah, it's funny. Like people like me who are like lame at running and stuff, we buy all the craziness.
So do I sometimes, but I lose socks.
I do.
So I just decided to buy a bulk pair of Hanes and then I just.
Like from Target?
Yeah.
And you run on that?
Yeah.
This is so crazy to me.
Just Hanes.
It's so funny because we buy like Balega and all these things and they cost they cost so much money.
Expensive.
They're so expensive. Everything's expensive anyway.
Yeah.
Carb loading, do you prefer pasta or pizza?
Pasta.
Or
pizza crust.
Really? I would have thought you would say pizza. Okay.
Pizza
Runner's high or post-race? I don't want to ask that. That's a stupid question. Listeners or so overhydrated or something. Would you rather be overly hydrated or slightly dehydrated?
Slightly dehydrated.
Really?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that is it. Goo for your thing or something else?
Morton.
Okay.
Morton. I've never tried goos. Actually, I have one time. And I decided to try my first gel during a half marathon race for some reason.
Was it good?
No, because it exploded in my glasses. I was also running in my glasses.
It exploded in your face?
Yeah, it exploded in my face. None of it got in my actual mouth. And I was sticky for the remainder of the race. Because don't do new things on race day, but don't do new things during a race. Like, I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So it exploded in my face. I was sticky. Couldn't see because it was all over my glasses.
Right.
So when I did start to train with it, I used Morton.
Do you prefer the Merton ones with caffeine or without caffeine? Or do you have a strategy for that?
I don't have a strategy. I just shove both of them in my pockets and then it's like a roulette. So whichever one I pull out.
I like that.
I take it.
I like that.
No caffeine, whatever, I take it too.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Usually I pack 50-50 for a race. Because I don't want to like take them in a specific order because anything can happen during a race. Like one will fall out of my pocket. Like maybe I grab the wrong one. If I let that freak me out because I have a set routine, that's going to throw me off.
And we talked about that. So you said you have a routine, but you used to have a routine, but now you feel like if you don't have a routine, it takes the pressure off a little bit and it's a little bit nicer to just go in there without all these expectations.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like the faster you are, the more expectations are on you and the more you feel discouraged?
Yes, I do.
It's like bothersome almost, like, oh, people leave me alone.
I mean, running is my me time, right? Or at least running used to be my me time because I was very intense in college about my running and I'm faster now than I was in college, right? So I graduated and kind of found myself in running a little bit more as myself because I had a very awful high school experience, which I'm so open to talk about.
You are, you're not.
I am. Yeah, very open. Very open.
You sure?
Yeah, so open. Oh my God. Yeah. I'm like, please ask away. I'm an open book.
About what happened to you?
Yeah, I'm so open about that because again, like when I was that age, I was looking for stuff online like podcasts or books or essays, like memoirs of people who write or talk about their experiences, and I couldn't find anything. Actually, I found one episode of this girl who was a track cross country athlete.
Mm-hmm.
I forget her name, damn, but like she had a very similar experience to me. Her high school coach was inappropriate. She confronted him. So I'm drafting an email to her before this crime show episode ends. She's dead. Like they find her dead. So I was like, well, that goes my letter to her. Like she died. Yeah, she died.
Wow.
I forget exactly what happened, but she was found dead. So I was like, okay, I need to make myself available. Like I need to make this story available so that it's out there for kids that might be going through something similar. You know what I mean?
Okay. So with all due respect,
anyway,
you're giving me permission to ask?
Yes.
And you're okay with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just for the record.
For the record, yeah.
So you were sexually harassed?
Yes.
By your coach?
Yep. So in
high school?
High school.
That's really sad.
Yeah.
and it's weird because this happened, and instead of hating running, you love it, and it's your me time. You don't connect that.
I would lie if I said I didn't connect it. You know, I would lie, but I also love running so much that it just wasn't an option to just give it up, if that makes sense. So that's why I think it was so hard for me to just get fast in college, because I didn't have time. I literally graduated high school, went to college, and didn't have time to process what happened to me, right? So I didn't have anyone to talk to about it. Like it was too much, and I felt like it was a burden to talk to people about it. And I thought with all the stuff that we were doing, I was like, this is illegal. Like I'm going to get in trouble. Like I'm going to get kicked out of school. Like in my brain was just worst case scenario for everything.
Just for telling people what happened?
Yeah. Like I thought I was going to get in trouble because I just didn't know what anything.
It's so interesting how when people get sexually harassed in any way, it feels like this incredible fear kind of overwhelms you about ever opening up about it.
Yeah.
You don't know how people are going to take it, if you're exaggerating, if you're crying wolf, if you're playing a victim or whatever, or if it's actually true.
Yeah.
And that fear makes people never say anything, and then people keep getting away with it.
Yeah. So I was terrified because I got to college, right? And they were like, you're not allowed to run because you're underweight. So you need to put on weight. So I was seeing the school, like,
this is also my problem, by the way. I'm always underweight. Okay. I'm just too skinny, people. Okay.
That was my problem. So I get to school and like they immediately tell me like, you can't, it's not safe for you.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing the school therapist, and I had all of this like high school baggage that I was just too scared to bring up. So we were working on my eating, talking about that. But in the back of my mind was always this thing, like these memories and this thing that happened with this person. So essentially when I moved, so I grew up, not long story short, because it is just kind of a long story, but I was born in Florida, right? My parents are Mexican. They moved to Florida so that I would get citizenship. Gave birth to me, didn't really live there for longer than a few months.
You were born in Florida?
Yep, and then we moved back to Mexico. So it was literally just got my passport, my American passport, citizenship, went back to Mexico.
Okay.
So I would get dual citizenship.
Yeah.
So they're smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so Mexico, and then when I was little, we moved to Atlanta, Georgia, where they had my brother. Same thing. Moved to the U.S. for him to get citizenship. And then from there, my dad's job sent him to Argentina. So I was there for 9 years.
Oh, you lived in Argentina?
Yeah. Buenos Aires, 9 years.
Wow.
And then from there, they moved him to France. And so that's when I was like the new kid, sophomore in high school, had 3 years of high school left. And I was just the weird kid, like very awkward, too nervous to, for some reason, find a spot at the cafeteria.
This is in high school?
Yes, in high school.
You didn't know where to sit?
I didn't know where to sit, so I decided to just not go to lunch. But then if I started going to lunch, people would be like, why haven't we seen you? Right. So I just decided I wasn't going to lunch. So I would just like eat my lunch in the bathroom.
No.
Like the movies. It's disgusting.
No, Sophia, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
No, it's just sad.
You know that Mean Girls where Lindsay
course.
Lohan sits in the toilet with her tray?
Yeah.
It's literally me minus the tray.
Oh, God.
But so I did that. And then once you like disappear at lunch, you can't just randomly appear. At least that's what I thought in my brain. My logic was like, well, I'm stuck eating lunch in the bathroom for 3 years now. Right. So I did that. Or I would go to the library, do my schoolwork, and then just like eat like kind of here and there.
You were like a nerdy one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah. So I had a hard time making friends because I just put myself in a situation where I wasn't making any friends. Eventually, I had
eating in the bathroom by yourself.
Eating in the bathroom by myself. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
That could definitely contribute.
Exactly. Yeah. You would think, right? So I was just like not making any friends. And then my history teacher in high school, he was wonderful. I still talk to him. Shout out Mr. Herc if you're listening. Coach Herc, Nathan. Yeah. So he was like, you should join the cross country team. Like you seem like you're a dedicated student. So I assume you'd be a dedicated runner, you know.
Right.
So I joined the team, and then there was an assistant coach, this person. So the assistant coach was younger, like late 20s. I was 16. He's late 20s, and he was like kind of like the dude, like the cool coach that all the middle school and high schoolers kind of liked. And he wasn't that fast, but at the time he was bragging about how fast he was and all this stuff.
Sure.
He was like the cool coach that everyone was just kind of like friends with. And he kind of took a liking to me very quick. And so I became the fastest on the team, but like we weren't very fast. And he was like, no, I'm going to do your workouts with you. So we were running together, and then I got injured, and he was like, well, I'm going to find you a doctor. And he started like, I was new to running, so I didn't know what anything was. I didn't know what a running watch was. I was running in my cotton shirt and basketball shorts. Like I didn't know anything.
You still run on cotton shirts.
I still run in cotton shirts. I still honor that. Target. Exactly. Yep. Yeah. I protest.
Tradition.
Yeah. So he started bringing me clothes. He started bringing me running shorts. He brought me a heart rate monitor, like all this stuff. And so that is grooming. So I didn't know that that's what he was doing. That this process of befriending a child as an adult is called grooming. I did not know that.
For intentions.
With bad intentions, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
So then, you know, me and him became friends, and then he started inviting me to his house after school, his apartment, and so he would bring me like smoothies, snacks to school. He started picking me up from school in his car. We would go to his place, and I told him like, oh, like, you know, I like girls and all this stuff. And he was like, oh yeah, I know. Like, yeah, I know that. I'm like, okay. So I thought that the more I emphasized it, the less he would do, I guess. But that was not the case.
Nope.
So he went along with his bad intentions. You know, he started touching me inappropriately at his place. And it was crazy, like in his car, all this stuff. And he was like, oh yeah, like I do this with my friends, like my friends like this. And he had a girlfriend. So I thought like, oh, he wouldn't cheat on his girlfriend because people don't do that. Newsflash, people do in fact do that. People cheat. Anyway, so I think I'd convinced myself that I'm not letting this happen to me because I'm deciding that this is not what it is.
So you were aware at this point?
Very in denial, though. I was very in denial. I just knew that that has to be wrong, right? It has to be wrong. And so I was injured at the time, and then he was like, "You should take these pills," because he'd convinced me that when you run injured, you compensate. So like you run like chueca. You know, like lopsided.
Yeah.
So you have to take these painkillers so that you run normal and the injury goes away. That's how he reasoned it. So he gave me the pills. I took them. And then he would give me like every week, like a new box or like a new like little bag. And then I found out later on that he was getting them illegally. So this guy was faking prescriptions to get these pills that he was then giving to me. And he was like, they're safe because I take them too. Little did I know this man is a full drug addict. Right. He's taking pills. He's injecting himself. And now I'm taking these pills too. So all of a sudden I'm an addict.
You got addicted?
Yep. Yeah. I'm your valedictorian in high school, type A student, straight A's. And suddenly I'm an addict, but also still valedictorian and still, you know.
You were the valedictorian?
Yeah. In my high school. Yeah. I gave the speech and everything. So
Are you a slightly overachiever?
Just a little. Viva Mexico.
Yeah.
I blame the chancla. You know how it is.
I do.
Yeah. The overachiever.
Funny.
Yeah.
If I got more than a C, I would celebrate for a month. My best grades were a D.
Really?
Yeah, I was always bad.
Really?
Yeah. I was a bad student.
Your parents didn't like...
I didn't grow up with parents. My mom and my dad. This is not about me. It's about you. My dad was out.
Fair enough.
My mom was working too much to keep a roof over her head. So we kind of had to raise ourselves.
Yeah, no, so, that's very, that makes a lot of sense.
But back to you.
Yeah, no, so I was definitely an overachiever. Yeah, it was crazy. So this started happening, and then I was like, okay, like it kind of snowballed. It felt like I was riding a roller coaster and I couldn't stop because I still needed to get good grades, still needed to graduate, still need to go to college, like all these expectations that I still needed to meet, you know?
You didn't tell your coach?
No.
Your head coach?
No.
Because this guy was the assistant coach.
Yep.
You never talked to the head coach?
So I tried hinting a little bit because this guy was an addict. So like if he didn't get his drugs that he was injecting in himself, he would be like falling over. He'd be falling asleep on like school trips and everything. And I would just I knew what was happening, but the other grownups didn't. And so I would kind of look and be like, he's not doing well. Like someone come save me by helping him. You know what I mean? But no one, I think people were just kind of ignoring it, and people were like, didn't want to touch it.
Sounds like a real winner.
No, he was, oh my God. And like one time I think I slept over. This is where it gets a little ugly. So trigger warning for blood, needles, addiction, all that stuff. So
X-rated.
Yeah, this is a little trigger warning here. If you don't like it, I guess skip ahead a little bit.
20 seconds.
So essentially what he had me do was he'd convinced me that he needed to remove blood from his body, put it in a bag in the fridge, and then put it back in his body, right?
Okay.
This is called blood doping. So to do blood doping, you actually don't need to add stuff to your blood to become like superhuman. You can actually do it by removing your blood, and then the air goes into the blood, and that just makes your blood more oxygenated.
Oxygenized, yeah.
Your blood oxygen capacity increases just from being exposed to the air, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he explains all this stuff to me. He's like, you want to go to medical school. Like, here's your little intro. He's like, and I need someone that I trust, and I trust you, and I need someone to make sure that I don't die when we do this.
You're 16.
16, yeah.
Okay.
So he takes me to his apartment after school, and I decided that I couldn't tell anyone because he was feeding me these pills that were illegal, and I thought I could go to jail for this.
Okay. Makes sense, yeah.
So I was scared. I was just on autopilot. I still need to graduate. Like, I just need to do this thing. So I go to his house, and he sets up an IV, or he has me set up an IV, and we do it, right? So the blood just goes into his body. I sleep over to make sure he doesn't die. And then, so then he's like, okay, I need to do this again. So the following week, do it again. I set up the IV, and then he goes, oh, the blood is like stuck. Again, trigger warning, this is disgusting. The blood is stuck, and you need to do it manually. And I was like, what do you mean? And he says, you need to empty this bag of blood into this beaker. Like it feels like basement, like from a movie, out of a movie, dungeon, science, experiment, disgusting crime scene. So he says his dog is there. Like, this is a studio apartment. His clothes are everywhere.
So disturbing.
It's so awful. And I vividly remember like emptying this bag into like a glass container and of his blood.
Oh.
And I need to go syringe one by one, fill it up, go to his arm, put it in his vein, go back to the sink, fill it up, put it in his arm with like a liter of blood.
Okay.
Mind you, Eminem 3 a.m. that song is playing in the background on loop, which if you heard of that song, it's like horrendous. This song is awful. So I remember I'm standing over the sink and I'm like, Sofia, like, run. Like, if there's anything you can do, it's run. But my like feet felt like cemented to the ground. My feet just weren't moving.
Wait, but you were not on the pills.
I was, but I was fine.
You were just more.
I was just like in shock. Yes, I was so traumatized. There was like blood everywhere on my hands from doing it manually on the sink, that I think my brain just went into survival mode and said, you're going to do this. You're going to finish your job, and we're just going to go like boom, 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 like power through. You're going to go to school the next day. You're going to graduate. You're going to go to college, all this stuff. So my brain just said, you're going to go. Like, it's go time right now. You're surviving. So my feet felt like they were frozen on the ground. And I was looking at my hands, and I was picturing myself like running out the door, finding the first person outside, being like, take me somewhere, help me, take me home, take me to the police, take me somewhere.
Where was this, in Pennsylvania?
No, Paris, France.
Oh,
this was in France. Yeah. So I was like, just run, like get out of there. This guy's on the floor. He's missing blood. Like, this is your perfect chance. Like, go, just run. Like, you're a runner. So like I felt like my running was like betraying me. Like the one time that I needed to run for survival, my body was just failing me because my brain was just like full survival mode.
Which is funny because that's where your running would be triggered.
Yes.
I don't understand. Yeah.
Exactly. So I just was full survival mode, right? So anyway, long story short, I wrap it up, clean everything up, feed the dog, God damn it, and then go to bed with this guy. And I'm wearing 3 sweatshirts, 2 pairs of pants because I don't want to be touched, right?
Of course.
And he looks at me, he goes, "Why are you wearing all that stuff? I'm not going to touch you." Like, as if he just hadn't been.
Yeah.
So anyway, I fall asleep, and then the next day I have a track meet. So he needs to be there at the bus, and I need to be there. But so it doesn't look like I slept over. He drops me off. His car isn't starting. So we're late at the same time. We're both late at the same time. And I was secretly hoping that someone would catch that. I was secretly hoping that one of the coaches would be like, "Oh, that's suspicious. A, Sofia's never late. And B, like, why are they late together?" So I was secretly, fingers crossed, hoping. But this guy drops me off like a block behind, and then he like zooms to the bus so that I'm late at a different time. Yeah, I'm type A. I'm not late.
You don't late. You're like,
yep, I'm on time.
You're not like a sloppy person that shows up 20 minutes. Okay. Right.
No. So like, they noticed, but they didn't ask me anything. And I was secretly hoping all weekend that they would ask me. And they didn't. And years later, when I kind of talked to those teachers, they were like, "Yeah, we noticed. That was so unlike you." And I did tell them, I was like, "I wished you just asked. Like, I really wished." And they were like, "Yeah, we regret not asking. We regret not asking." Yeah. So it was very like, I was alone. I was really alone in this whole thing. And like, I did also raise myself to a capacity because my parents like had no clue, but also knew at the same time. So they had no clue about the blood stuff. They had no clue about the drug stuff. But in a way, my mom was relieved that I was with a man instead of like my girl crush in high school.
Right.
So I was very alone in this, very, very alone. So then again, my brain was on autopilot. I said, need to graduate, top of the class, did that, went to college, didn't process any of this. And it's almost like as soon as I started coming into my own, like getting more comfortable, living my life, it's like my brain said, now you can process this. And all of a sudden it dumped everything on me. Said, this was wrong. Remember this? Hey, remember the blood hands? Remember this? Remember that? And I was like, oh my God, like all this actually happened.
Yeah, that's crazy how you put it in the back of your head.
Yeah, I literally think my brain just said, you're surviving and you just need to get through.
When did you, sensitive question.
Yeah.
When did you were, so you liked girls then?
Yep.
But you were not non-binary then?
No, not as far as I knew.
So did this stuff sort of pushed you to that?
No.
Sort of thing? Or was it completely independent of it?
Completely independent, because I did grow up, I had a pretty hard childhood growing up too. So like I had a lot of family issues. My parents had a lot of issues together. There's a lot of anger in my home. It was very hard for me growing up. So I never really had the brain space to get to know myself, is the way I like to phrase it. So like growing up, I was also kind of surviving. And so I never got to know myself as like a human that had interests and stuff. So like before I got into running, I would paint and I would lock myself in my room and like do that kind of thing. I didn't know how to dress. I always wore the same things over and over. And I always was convinced I was ugly, never looked in the mirror, never got to know myself in that way. So then when I started opening that venue of self-expression and figuring out, oh, shoot, like I am my own person. And I somehow made it past like 20. Like in my brain, I just wasn't going to make it that far. So I never thought what that would look like for me. Ever since I was little, since I was like 5, people would be like, what do you want to be? What do you want to be? And I kind of just parroted what other people said that I would be good at. But I never had a clear path that said like, I want to get married. I want to do this. I want to do that. That just didn't seem realistic for me. I just always thought, I'm not going to make it that far. So
you're not gonna make it in general.
In general, yeah, I was convinced something will kill me, or like this all sucks, so I'm gonna end up doing it. Like I was convinced that I just wasn't gonna make it far, and I didn't have the words to explain that when I was younger, right? So all of a sudden, I had made it that far, and all of a sudden, I'm in college and I'm graduating and I'm doing good. So that's when I'm like, oh shit, what now? You know, like now I need goals. Now I need a different goal that's not just to survive.
And you studied cinematography? You studied cinematography?
Yeah. So eventually
at
Columbia. Yeah. So I went in wanting to do pre-med, right? And doing biology. And I do think that everything that happened with this person and the whole like blood stuff and the whole like medical DIY basement stuff really made it hard for me to pursue that career. So I started doing like, internships in biolabs. So I said, let me shift to like microbiology and do more of that because the anatomy stuff kind of now freaks me out a little. And then it was very monotonous, very boring. Like being in a lab for hours. Yeah. It's like long hours, long days of the same stuff. Yeah. With zero creative expression.
People love that.
Yes.
Some.
Which I love the research, the reading, and the information. But in practice, I was like, oh, I'm going to die doing this. Like, this is miserable. Right. So I shifted. Like, I literally panicked, shifted, and said, I need to switch gears here. So I just went with a more creative path.
That's cool. Yeah. And of course, what's your favorite brand of cameras then?
Canon, baby.
That's right.
Canon, baby.
Canon, represent. People.
Yeah, exactly. See, good question.
Good questions. Oh, I should probably ask more questions. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Because in my running group, Pursuit, they are excited and they wanted to ask you a few questions.
What do the people want to know?
The people want to know questions. They want to know. They want answers to these questions.
Hit me, baby.
So here's a question from Chris E. He just ran the Boston Marathon.
Ooh, congrats, Chris.
He's fast. He says, I have a question. What are your go-to strategies, strength work drills for running form refinement?
Okay, that's a great question.
For running form. So he's trying to talk about how you refine your form.
Yep.
What are your go-to strategies, strength work and drills?
Got it. So, lots of people are going to hate this. I barely strength train, which I don't recommend. I recommend you strength train, right? When you do, you bounce back from injury a lot quicker and you bounce back from marathons quicker. So I'm trying right now to actively incorporate more strength training. And luckily, my coach right now is my PT as well. So I go to PT every week. And
you went today?
Yep. And so I like strengthen my knees, my legs, everything. So he like massages me and then we do strength training. So we do a lot of like resistance band exercises, like resistance band squats, like monster walks, a lot of dynamic movement is a
so no weights, mostly resistance
with
bands.
Weights, like added weights too, like calf raises with like a weight, or like knee ups with like a weight as well. But it's less about how heavy the weight is really, and it's about like keeping the quality of your movement and engaging the right muscles. Yeah. So like pelvic work, glute work, like really making sure that I'm engaging the correct muscles during these exercises, which is why for people that if you strength train on your own, see if you can start with a PT to check that you're doing these things correctly. If you're doing them wrong, you might as well not be doing them.
Oh, that's terrible.
So like you need to be watched because he corrects me all the time. So I go weekly. It's so helpful because then when I go home, I'm refreshed from that week to do these things correctly. Like medicine ball stuff. I still try to do a lot of core. I used to do a lot of that in college, but again, I'm actively trying to strength train more because it's so important.
You're trying to get 6-pack and stuff?
Yeah, all that stuff.
You already have one.
Mostly like I want like shoulders.
You wanna look
the
buff.
The trans in me that just wants,
like you wanna look
just
buff.
More boy. Yeah. More boy.
Okay, Lauren wants to ask you, what are your top recovery strategies, devices, or activities?
Ooh, okay. I foam roll a lot. That's something I try to do. And then Nike sent me recovery boots, Hyper Ice. Actually, from winning the
you got those boots?
This After Dark, they gave me a pair of Hyper Ice boots.
Shoe things?
Yep, the recovery boots. That
I was about to buy them. Are they good?
Yeah, they're great. They're phenomenal. Like
Do you have to say that?
No, they're actually so good because Nike sent me the half ones, which I used a lot on my glutes. I use those a lot. They actually do great. Like they really
They're
help you.
$1,000.
Yep. So I got those for winning this half. So I'm extremely grateful for that. But before I got those, I used to, and I still do, the sidekick tool. So I don't know if you've heard of the sidekick tool. It's basically like the gua sha, like Chinese medicine, where they do the metal scraping to engage, to, I guess, facilitate blood flow and encourage blood flow, more like it. So it's like a metal tool, right? That when you have kind of like a knot in your muscle, you literally just take this tool with like a little bit of oil.
Yeah.
And you scrape this knot away.
Weird.
So it's basically like foam rolling, but very site specific.
Really weird.
So if I have a tight calf, I will go at it with the sidekick tool till I bruise.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I never heard of
So I swear by the sidekick tool. Yep.
When the going gets tough and the tough gets going, do you have any go-to mantras when facing challenges?
I do.
Okay, that's the first one. Let's stick to this and then I'll ask you this.
Yeah, I do. They're not exactly like word for word mantras that I just repeat like the same words, but my girlfriend always tells me, shout out Daniela, baby. Miss Daniela, darling.
Daniela, what's up?
She's my everything. She's really good at reminding me this, but she always tells me like your brain is your biggest superpower. Like your brain got you through everything that you went through. Running is easy, like relative to everything you went through. Like your brain is your superpower because it has pushed you through some crazy shit.
Yeah.
So you need to trust yourself. You need to trust your brain. You need to be like, I got this. I can do this. So it's not really mantras, but it's like, oh baby, like I've been through some real hard stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Even day to day, like being a trans athlete is tough. So my brain will trick me in being like, you don't belong here. Like you don't belong with all these girls. Like you don't belong here. These girls are faster than you. So like my brain will play tricks on me, but
people were giving you trouble on the internet because they were saying how they think you were a boy.
Yeah.
Because you were so...
Which I'm flattered.
You're so fast.
Again, as a trans person, I'm not currently taking hormones. I am getting top surgery soon.
Yeah.
Which is just removing of the titties, the titty chop, if you will.
Yeah, the chopping block.
So when people are like, that's a boy, I'm flattered. Oh my God. That's like a compliment to me.
Sure. But you were born a girl.
I'm born a girl.
But these people say that just because you're so fast.
Yeah.
They're like, she must be a boy.
Which is crazy because, again, that was not that fast.
That's right.
Like this.
But to the average person.
I guess so. But like relative, it's not that fast. So like people need to get their facts straight. But anyway.
It is fast because when I was trying to record, I had to move the camera really fast because you were leaving the frame so quickly. And another freaky thing that happened, I was with my kids. And I remember looking up and you were like almost, I don't know, it looked like you were half a mile away.
Yeah.
So I was telling my kids, blah, blah, don't do this. And then I look up real quick and you were like way closer. And I was just like, what? And then my kid pulled me. So I got distracted by literally 2 seconds. And then I looked up again and you were,
oh my God.
I was like, what? How did she just like, she was far.
People,
and now she's not far.
People were calling me a boy, which again is so flattering to me. And like my trans friends were all like, that's so funny. Cause like, that's like a compliment to you. I'm like, yeah.
People always have something to say, right?
People always have something to say.
Yeah. In training, getting through speed work. Oh yeah, getting through speed workouts. Like when you're doing speed workouts, I'm assuming you don't like speed workouts that much?
I do actually like them. Yeah. One of my mantras, I guess, if it's like a word for word thing, I literally just say go bitch.
Yeah.
Like go bitch. Yeah. Like I literally just say, okay, just go.
That's right. I get it. My coach Niels, he writes a pen on his wrist here, and it says JFR. Just fucking run.
Run. Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, when the pain is so painful, he just looks at it. Nobody feels sorry for you. Go.
Just go. Yeah. You like my friend actually in drag, my friend Show Pony, he's a drag king. And he's so funny. He'll just be in the crowd. He'll be like, go bitch. Like that's his favorite like cheer. Yeah. So now it's just stuck in my head. Yeah. So if I do need something quick, like during a workout, I'm like, go bitch.
Yeah, go bitch.
Yeah.
That's right. In life, finding balance between juggling and priorities. Do you find it hard?
So hard.
Is your training pretty intense that it gets so much of your day? Like
it does sometimes, but I try to keep it flexible. My biggest thing, my biggest key, I think, to being a successful runner when you have 3 jobs is keep it flexible, right? Like nothing is going to be perfect. So don't waste your time expecting it to be perfect. Yeah. It's going to be your best because your best is all you have, right?
That's right.
Your best is all you can give. So that's all you can expect. And that's what you're going to give. You have to rely on your best if you know that you will give that, right?
That's right.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work if you're not going to give your best. If you're not someone that goes full out, that's not going to work for you, right? But as someone that gives my all, gives my best, It works for me because I'm like, I'm going to try my best. It's not going to be perfect, right? So I can't expect it to be, but I can expect my best. So I work at night some days. Some days I don't. Some days I work in the day. Some days I don't. So the routine for me, the waking up at a certain time and going to bed at a certain time every day does not work for me because on a Friday, one random Friday, I'll be working till 3 a.m. And then on a random Tuesday, I'll be working till 3 a.m. But that Friday, I'm working in the morning. So it doesn't make sense to have a set wake up time at 9 a.m. if the night before I'm sleeping at 4, you know? So it's all about being flexible. Some days I expect to run at 2 a.m. Some days I expect to run at 10 a.m. And some days it'll be at 3 p.m. in the sun.
Dude, you have your schedule's a mess.
Exactly. But like if I let that scare me, it will freak me out and that'll impact my jobs, my running and everything. So I just have to be ready for everything. And I also think that's key for racing successfully is you just have to be ready for anything. You have to be ready to like run over a kid. You have to be ready to like forget a gel. You have to be ready to like run with a dry mouth because you missed a water cup. Like your shoe can come untied. These things that can happen cannot scare you, right?
Yeah.
You have to be ready for them. And if it doesn't get in your head because you're ready, you're going to be fine.
So that's awesome. I like it because, you know, I'm not new to running. I'm new to trying hard in the running since in my adult life. I was a runner in high school, but I have a question for myself. When I'm running and I start feeling my heart rate go up to the point of like 158, 160, something like that.
Yeah.
I start and I have a long run. Like let's say I'm doing 18 miles.
Okay.
And I'm on mile 4 or 5. And I start already feeling my heart starting to start crying a little bit.
Yeah.
Like even when I ran the last half marathon that I did, I was on mile 5 or 6 and I could feel my heart starting to climb up. And when that happens, I think that's it. Like that's the end. Like I'm only going to slow down from there. Or because if you run faster, your heart rate keeps going higher and higher, you explode. If you don't slow down, like if you think I have another 7 miles to go and my heart's already crying, like how do you keep running at that speed when your heart is crying and it's saying stop? I'm tired, like stop. And I'm like, okay, I need to keep running more and more and more because then in training, so then I can prevent that feeling from happening in mile 6. Maybe I can get in mile 10.
So the key there is like that feeling will be there, right? The feeling of this is hard. Like my body is telling me that this is hard, whether it's your breath, whether it's your heart, whether it's your legs, that feeling is going to come, right? Mm-hmm. You need to be ready to be like, I know this. You know, like when you see someone you don't necessarily like and you're like, oh, here comes in Mexico, you say like la abuelita de Batman, whatever. Like here comes here comes this bitch. Like I don't like her.
Yeah.
But you're like, oh, but I know her. I've seen her before. I've dealt with her before. So I can do it again. So when that feeling comes, you can't let it scare you. You can't let it freak you out because the more it freaks you out, the more you're like, I'm going to explode. But really your body can go further physically, like physiologically. Your body can do more than your brain tells it to. So like.
You think so?
Yes, 100%. So when your brain starts getting in the way and it's like, oh no, I'm going to explode. That's not true. That's literally just you getting scared of this feeling that is normal.
It's like the pain keeps creeping in and you're just
you just have to be like, you know what? I've felt this before. So I'm just going to get through it. And like, I know this.
But can you get through that?
Yes. Yeah.
It actually feels better afterwards?
Yeah. Well, like, yes, but you also can't expect it to because then you'll be like, shit, like I thought I was going to feel better by here. No, you just have to like acknowledge this feeling and move on. Don't like obsess over, oh no, I feel like shit. You just have to be like, okay, I feel this way.
Yeah.
Now that I feel this way, keep going. Because like for the Valencia Marathon, for example, I had a side stitch that hit me halfway through.
Okay.
And I could have been like, fuck, like this is going to ruin my race. This hurts so bad.
Sure.
But I've dealt with it before. I've finished long runs with a cramp because I said, hey, maybe I'll get a cramp during race day. I need to know what to do if this happens on race day. And luckily I did. I've pushed through long runs and workouts with a side cramp before. So I said on race day, I've done this before. I knew this could happen, so it doesn't scare me. I need to level with myself. Like you need to calm yourself down, like talk, like gentle parent yourself. You need to be like, what am I feeling? Is it fear? Okay, feel it and move on. What is it? Is it like uncertainty? Okay, feel it, move on. Yeah. Like don't let it hold you back.
You're really strong mentally. I don't know if you realize. I mean, I don't know if you can do that. My friend Juan Padilla, shout out to Juan. He wanted to ask you, and then we have to wrap up at some point soon here. But
yeah,
when you're deep in the race and the pain starts to build, we were just talking about this.
Yeah.
What are the mental strategies? So you answered that already. What
Yeah.
are the mental strategies you rely on? Okay.
There's also a few others. Like I think about my girlfriend. I think about like, sometimes I do go there and I'm like, I'm running to her, you know, like she's at the finish line. Even if she's not, I'll be like, she's there. I'm going to go see her.
Right.
Or like, she's proud of me no matter what. And I know that in the back of my mind. Mm-hmm. But I was like, she's proud of me because she knows I'm about to do my best.
That's right. That's
so
cool.
If I'm holding myself back, that's not my best. So I just, different things like that kind of worked for me.
What about this one? Do you visualize your races beforehand? If so, how detailed is your mental rehearsal of the race?
I do. I don't obsess over the course. Sometimes I like going in blind, so I don't necessarily research the course ahead of time. Because again, I don't like being scared of a hill. I don't like being nervous. Because in college, I literally used to sit there, Google the girls that were racing against me, Google their fastest times, and Google their fastest times for that season, their career bests, everything. Right?
You do that because you're A-type.
Yep. So I used to sit there and like learn the course and like have a plan. But again, like that just freaked me out. And then I would get too nervous if the plan wasn't going right, if this girl that said she was going to run this, didn't run that, like all this stuff that was just in my brain.
All right. I'm going to start going to get chanclas, Hanes socks, cotton t-shirt.
Yeah.
And not do my hair.
Yeah.
And just go.
And tell your brain to shut the fuck up.
Be
like, I got this. Brain, shut up. Yeah.
My friend Abby, who's Juan's wife, she's an ultra runner. She used to be. She retired from it. But she wants to ask you, are you a superstitious runner? Does she have to run in a specific set of shorts, lucky shorts, socks, or does she have any good luck charm that she uses? And if she does, what made her start using those?
I used to run with Superwoman socks for my warm up in college,
and
then switch over to like my gay socks for the actual race. So I did that for a little bit. Now I don't, because again, if I lose it, if I don't have it, if I forgot to pack it, it's gonna freak me out. Yeah. So if I don't have something to pack, then I can't forget that I packed it. So that's right. I don't do any of that. But again, I do. It really did hit me when my girlfriend was like, your brain is your superpower. Like it's not going to leave my head. So like, that's my lucky charm.
That's good. I like that. I think that's in your brain. Having that is actually really cool.
She ate with that. She really did.
My brain's my superpower. I like that.
Yeah.
Josh from the Pursuit Group wants to know, how did life change once you got involved with coaching with Nike?
Yeah. A lot.
You did?
Like, yeah, because I really grew up thinking like, and knowing that if I wanted anything, if I needed anything, I needed to get there by doing it myself and by being good at what I do. That was just ingrained in my head from when I was little, right? So with running, I just kind of joined races for like in New York, and I was just kind of doing really well in them. So I started running, and then people started noticing me, like, who is this person winning all these races? So then Nike just started inviting me to community events. And I remember I was invited to my first like PR thing. I was so nervous.
Sure.
Everyone there knew each other. I knew one person. Shout out Dave Hashim, an incredible photographer, who's photographed me in drag too, by the way.
That's the one you were sharing with me.
Well, that's Ryan, actually. Shout out Ryan, who only photographs me in drag. And
Ryan's good.
His shots, like, I hate looking at myself, except when it's Ryan that shoots me, like, which is a skill, right?
Yeah.
Because I hate looking at myself. But Ryan eats every time. So shout out Ryan at Seagaxium Instagram. So it changed because I was given a platform, which I just didn't have before. So I was noticed by running fast enough to be noticed. And then by that, I got this platform. So now that I work with them, I can champion anyone I want, really. So I'm a trans person, so I can advocate for trans rights.
And you wore that on your
protect
arm?
Trans women on my arms. Yeah, because I didn't see a trans woman running out there. And that was sad to me because I was like, whoa, we just need more trans women in women's spaces, right? Mm-hmm. So I see a lot of people like being like, I'm a female-focused podcast, or like I'm a female-focused wellness coach, and they don't interview trans women. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's so weird. You don't prioritize women. You only prioritize some women, and that's weird. Mm-hmm. So say it if you mean it. Say it like you mean it, you know, like speak it like you mean it. So
now you're in a photography podcast.
Exactly, there we go.
We're talking about trans athletes.
Yes, my girlfriend is trans. All the women I love most in my life are trans. So like, I'm really just, now that I have this platform, I am carving space for non-binary athletes like me, trans masculine athletes, and like trans femme athletes as well.
So not all non-binary athletes are born and then switch sexes.
So it's not a sex switch. It's like a non-binary just means that you don't identify either as a man or a woman.
Right.
But when you are born, you're born either a man or a woman.
Yeah.
So when you're non-binary, you are trans because you don't identify.
Yeah, you don't care what you were born with.
Yes.
Your birth.
Yeah.
Sex.
Yes.
But some people think non-binary athletes means that they were born a man and then they switch to a woman or something like that.
No, that's just a transgender woman. So a transgender woman is born male and then will transition however she chooses, whether medically or not, to womanhood. Yeah.
Womanhood, yeah. That's cool. You know, Sofia, I have to wrap it up, but I do have to say, you are very special. I would like to do another podcast at some point.
Oh my God, yeah, bring it on.
You know, and a photo shoot.
Yes, please.
And even though you hate looking at yourself, I don't care.
I trust you. I trust you.
Because my purpose as a photographer is not, and this goes for all of you, it's not to satisfy the client in front of me or the subject. It's to make a vision in my head and execute that vision. And whatever the vision is, we're executing it.
Viva Mexico.
Viva Mexico.
I trust the vision.
And I used to think I have to make the photo good for you, but I no longer think that. I make the photo good for me.
Yes. No, I 100% agree.
I have a vision. I want to execute it.
Yeah.
And you're like the canvas, and I'm gonna like paint.
Yes.
It's
take
gonna
it away.
Make it work.
Take it away.
And
you won't take a bad photo. I know that. So
it will be fun to one day get to go on a little run with you sometime too. That'll be fun. But
anytime.
Just remember, my limit is I'm quite limited.
That's fine. That's fine.
But I'm getting there. And also, I just want to say, it's great that you are doing all this for trans women.
Yes.
I think it's great that you are writing that on your arm. I know more about that world now, getting to know you, than I have ever, because I am obviously not in that world at all. But I'm interested in, and I respect everything. And I'm just so curious. And I think it's so great to see somebody believing in something and pushing really hard on what you believe.
Yeah.
And you're doing it through your athleticism and through your life. And I think that's just beautiful. It's a peaceful way of sending the message instead of rubbing it in your face and pushing it down your throats like a lot of people seem to do. I also appreciate how I'm not aware of all these terms.
Yeah.
And you have been so kind to kind of teach me through them and
of course.
Like tell me like, oh no, this is this and this is that, because I'm not an idiot. I'm just not in that world. I'm a little bit of an idiot. If you ask my wife, I'm big time.
No.
But no. I'm trying to learn. I think you're going to, I have a feeling, and I'm pretty good at intuition. Some pretty huge things are going to come in your future and in your life.
Oh, thank you.
And you didn't get put in this incredible position of your talents, not just in the running, but everything you're doing, the trans performance, the running, the schooling that you're doing. And now we've gotten to know each other.
Yeah.
So now you can probably join this world more.
Yeah, of course. Oh my God.
Probably help you a little bit with that. May or may not be able to, mostly may.
Yeah, please. Yes, please. I'm a movie nerd, camera nerd, all that stuff. So, yeah, please.
We're all nerds.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a nerd.
Just big nerds here.
I'm a big nerd.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Luckily, I'm already married. I would be screwed in the nerd world out there. Actually, no. Adults, people like nerds now because they make more money.
Nerds are in.
Yeah, they make more money.
Nerds are in,
but
baby.
Back in the day in high school, you're a nerd, you're out. But now when you're all there, you're making money. You're like, hey, I'll take it. Any nerd is good.
Yeah.
So Sofia, I cannot thank you enough. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I cannot thank you enough.
Thank you
for having this incredible podcast. Oh my God, I'm so happy.
Thank you for having me. It's a huge honor. Seriously.
It's been great. It was great seeing you run like a crazy person. Just like I was like, what is happening?
Thank you.
It's really shocking. You guys should look her up. Like shocking how freaking insanely fast your body moves.
Thank you.
And I'm like, how does that happen?
Thank you so much.
And there's so much more to you than running. It's just like, in fact, I feel running is such a small part of your life.
My life is crazy.
It is crazy.
It's like a whole season of Dr. Phil.
The whole season, the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like Seinfeld and Dr. Phil all at the same time.
Yeah. Horror movies, everything.
I'm curious to see what happens to you in the future and all the amazing gifts and blessings that are coming your way.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And thanks for meeting me. Thank you.
It was a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening. And we'll see you guys later at another episode of Curious Photographers Podcast.